Hi amiguis, my name is Pam and I read a lot of books and I also have a lot of hobbies, and I usually do like monthly book recaps, or that's what I had been doing for all of last year basically. Just talking about all the books that I had read, my thoughts on them. And I wanted to do that in this video as well, but I thought I would also add to that a little bit in this video and just talk about some of my favorite hobbies lately. One of the trendy things this year is anti-brain rot hobbies, analog hobbies. Like, these are kind of like the buzzwords that are going around right now around hobbies. And I feel like I've noticed every few years or so, hobbies just get like a new branding. It was like cottagecore for a little bit, or like slow living, or like grandma hobbies. And now it's kind of evolved into like this anti-brain rot, anti-doom scrolling, analog, buzzy title. But I feel like it's all rooted in the same thing, or at least like the kind of hobbies that I have been into and I feel like are also being talked a lot about and are trendy nowadays, all fall into this category that's kind of gone through a rebrand every few years. And I think it's interesting. I think it definitely, just like the little trendy name that we call it, definitely follows the cultural moment. And right now we're in a cultural moment where we're all just so tired of AI. We're all so tired of the constant scrolling and the disconnection from humans and the increased reliance on technology. And it's just kind of a dark world out there. And I think a lot of people are really craving connection, are really craving grounding and disconnecting from technology, disconnecting from this capitalistic world that we're living in and that we have no choice but to participate in. But I think by choosing like these analog hobbies and by making art, by cooking food, by planting things in the garden, by taking the time to slow down, reflect, write things with a pen and paper, these are things that bring us back into the present moment, and they have for a long time. We just forget sometimes, and I think technology and the online world that we've been living in for a while, it wears on us. And I have been there too for a few years now, probably since the pandemic and lockdown. I've been trying to like reground myself, reacquaint with myself, find out what I like, just take the time to slow down, make art, be creative. And that's been so good for my mental health. And I really like that this is a trend. I really like that other people are catching on and starting to do the same. I worry about like the buzzwords and that it's just like a moment and that people will forget about it and move on. But I honestly, as much as I don't like the buzzwords around it and that it is a trend, I feel like creativity and hobbies that are offline or analog are never going away because they've been here for hundreds of years. And for a reason, people are still doing them, because they connect us with other people, connect us with ourselves. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, explore that for a little bit, talk about how I've been feeling around this trend, and then also just talk about what some of my favorite analog hobbies have been recently. I'm a person who dabbles in a lot of things, and I'm really honing in on like what I'm good at, quote unquote good at, what I feel a little more confident in now that I've like built some skills and have been like practicing some of my all-time favorite hobbies for a while. And then also like what makes me excited and brings me joy and makes me feel grounded and rooted in this moment in time. So these are not like a comprehensive list because, like I said, I dabble in a lot of things. I like to draw, paint, illustrate. That's something that I've done for a long time. I wouldn't say like I'm good at it, but like I literally have a small business where I sell my cute, silly illustrations. Crochet has been something that's really, really fun for me, and I do it every once in a while, and I've been doing it for a couple years now. After my friend gave me like this really cute crochet kit, I made it a mission to teach myself, and I did, and I'm not like hardcore at it. I'm very base level, but that's something that like whenever I need something repetitive and grounding and really soothing, crochet has been really good. And reading, obviously. I have been an avid, prolific reader for some years now. So I will definitely be talking about books and the books that I've been reading lately, but I just also wanted to talk about a few of my other hobbies that I haven't had the chance to like just yap about. One of those is photography, and actually photography and me, we go way back to basically my whole life. I've loved having a camera my whole life. I remember from a very young age being very interested in my parents' cameras, both their like film photography point and shoot that my parents would take everywhere, and also my dad had a VCR that he would take everywhere, and I just loved being a photographer. I loved being behind the camera. And I remember my parents got me my own cute little point and shoot pink film camera. That was my very first like own camera. And ever since then, we've had a really good relationship. Then I moved on to digital cameras, and I had my DSLR artsy phase in high school and college. And now we've come full circle because I really wanted to try film photography. And a few years ago, I did get a Pentax film camera that I have been just lugging around with me everywhere for a couple years and snapping some photos, and that's been really cool. And I really like both the aesthetic of film photography, but also the fact that it's not instantaneous. You don't get like that instant gratification, which is frustrating, but like it's made me, you know, try to be in the moment, try to be a little more patient, try not to think just about the outcome of the photo and more about like everything surrounding the moment. And I also like that a film roll only has a certain amount of shots, so you really have to like be intentional and choose like what you want to take a picture of, which has also been a little hard for me because I'm a person who just likes to snap a million pictures at a time at any given moment. But film camera, film photos are a little more special, and I've really been enjoying that. And recently I bought an album so I could print out my film photos because I found myself just developing them, getting the digital files, and then never looking at them again. So I wanted to print them out, put them somewhere where I can flip through them, because that was like one of my favorite things as a kid, was just like going through old photo albums. And I wanted to start my own. So yeah, this is my little collection of my film photos, and I've just been having a really good time doing that. Another thing that I've been really enjoying is physical media, and one of the collections that I'm starting to slowly and intentionally grow is my vinyl collection. And actually, I've been doing that for a long time, since I was in college. I had one of those like shitty little suitcase record players, which I have now learned are really bad quality and can damage your vinyls. So we got rid of that one a long time ago, got a better record player, and now I've just been like trying to think about like which records I would love to have for a long, long time, and building my collection with intention, because records are not cheap. But yeah, that's something that I've been trying to enjoy more of, to stop worrying about like my Spotify algorithm, stop worrying about like what my Wrapped is gonna look like at the end of the year, because like literally, who cares? Like I really, really enjoy music and like the production and really sitting with the sound and the feelings and the lyrics. And I feel like having a record player, seeing like the physical representation of the music is a really fun and special thing. And just having records is really fun, like getting the physical album and seeing like this beautiful art that otherwise you would never really get to see. You see the album cover on like a tiny screen on your phone. You never, like, unless you have the physical version, like it's hard to appreciate really all the little details. And then like everything that goes into the packaging of a vinyl, I've just really been loving lately. I wanted to talk about the album that has just taken over my life recently, which is The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. I have been loving this album, and I got the Porch Light vinyl. It's a really beautiful vinyl. It looks like a porch light. It also kind of looks like a moon. It has a little bug. And yeah, it just has like so many cute details and like notes that you would never get to see otherwise. And I mean, vinyls, yeah, like I said, they're not cheap. So it's really a privilege to be able to collect some. And I have been trying to be intentional about it, think about like which albums I really care about, which ones I would want to have for a long time. So yeah, that has been something that I'm really enjoying recently. Shout out to my friend Zeleny Miscellaneous, DJ Pink B. She goes by many names, but she has also like made me appreciate vinyls a lot more. She has been DJing recently, very cool vibes, and she's been doing vinyl sets, which is very cool and complicated, and she's definitely inspired me to get more physical music. Since we're talking about vinyls, I just got one in the mail actually. This was a vinyl that I pre-ordered a few months ago, and it just got here a couple days ago, and I wanted to do a little unboxing of it. This one's like just something a little more fun. A non-analog hobby that I really enjoy is gaming, and specifically like cozy games I really, really love. And my friends and I have been playing Stardew Valley for a while. We have a farm together, and we play like once a week or once every couple weeks whenever our schedule allows, and that has been really, really fun. And I just love Stardew Valley. Like I've played it by myself as well, and it's gotten me into other cozy farming games, but Stardew Valley really is the blueprint, and I love it. And I love the music in it. Sometimes I'll just play like Stardew Valley background music while I'm like reading or working, and it's the best. It's the best. So I saw that they were releasing a vinyl for their Festival of Seasons, like orchestra version of the music from the game. So I got it. And I am so excited to listen to it and just like put it on while I cook, while I clean, while I read, while I hang out. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so cute. Look at this. Oh, it's all the seasons. So cute. Oh, pink. Yeah, it's in the dust jacket. Oh, the little Junimos. Wow, this is gorgeous. Ooh, blue. Wow. Oh, this is so cute. Very excited to listen to it. Okay, another one of my favorite hobbies lately, and this is probably the most recent one. I haven't been doing this for a long time, but it's one that I think will be sticking around, hopefully. And I've been really into bird watching. And I don't know, I think it's just funny. Like, it makes me sound so old, so granola, but like, I just love birds. And I have realized just like the variety of birds that are in my literal backyard. And I just wanted to learn more about them. So I got myself a pair of binoculars because I feel like it's really hard. I had been wanting to get into bird watching for a while, and it just never really stuck. It never really took until I got myself a pair of binoculars, and I got these really cute ones. I will say I did like a fair amount of research, not too much, but I didn't want to just like buy any old pair. And there's a lot that are recommended. They're not cheap either, binoculars, but all the ones that I was seeing were very basic. Most of them were black. They were very boring, and like, who cares, right? They're binoculars. The point is just to be able to see birds up close, and like, I get that. But then I got a Instagram ad for this brand, not sponsored, but Knox, if you want to sponsor me. It's called Knox, Nocs, and they just have really cute binoculars. They come in really pretty colors and really cool patterns, and they got me, gal. They got me with the Instagram ad, and I was like, if I'm gonna buy a pair of basic binoculars for around the same price, like, they might as well be really cute. So I got these cute blue ones, and just like, they bring me a lot of joy. And now I've been able to look at birds up close, and it's been so much fun. I also got this little pamphlet at my local grocery store, my local HEB. And these are birds that can be found in Texas. So this has been really helpful in like identifying what birds I'm looking at. In addition to this, I have been, and you know, this is like the non-analog part of this hobby, but technology can be used for good. And in this case, the app Merlin Bird ID has been the best for bird identifying. It's cool because you put your location, and then it tells you what birds are likely in your area today. So you can browse that, try to find your bird. You can also like Shazam a bird. You click identify, and it listens to the bird calls, and it'll literally tell you like every bird that it hears, and it's really good. So I've been building my life list, and just like, it's kind of like finding Pokemon. It's really fun. I just have been amazed with like the variety of birds in my area. I had no idea, and I've been living here for a few years now, and obviously I go outside, I hear the birds. It's so wonderful and beautiful and peaceful, but now I'm like learning the calls. I can kind of tell, like, if I see a bird fly by, I'm like, oh my God, that's a barn swallow. Oh my God, that's a cardinal. Okay, my mind went blank just now, but I have been learning my birds, and it's been, yeah, just really fun and makes me appreciate the biodiversity in my area. What else? Okay, I know what else. I'm almost done yapping about all my favorite hobbies, but another one that I've gotten really into lately, that I've dabbled in and out of my whole life really, is journaling. Junk journaling is very, very trendy right now, and I have mixed feelings about trends, but if a trend is gonna get me excited about a hobby that I had loved and then stopped doing, like, who am I to complain? Yay for trends. I will follow a trend. I don't care. So I've been really into junk journaling. And, you know, it's just another word for like scrapbooking, collaging, which, yeah, like I said, I've dabbled in and out of my whole life, and I've been collecting stickers my whole life. And this is a great way that I've been using them. And right now, my journaling habit is collecting things, memories, ephemera throughout the month. And then at the end of the month, doing like a junk journal spread of memories for the month. So I've been pretty consistent about it this year. I have one for every month so far, and that has been really fun. I'm also putting like a Receiptify, which is a website that'll just like take your Spotify stats for the month and lay them out in like a cool receipt looking thing. And also I've been logging like the media that I consume that month, because I'm trying to like watch more movies and like be more reflective about what I watch. So I've also been like saving ticket stubs and just noting what movies and shows I watch in the month. So that's been something that I've been really enjoying. And along with my monthly junk journal spread, I've also been journaling my travels. I made a whole video about this recent New Zealand trip. There's another video coming up for the second half of the trip. And I've also been journaling all my reading. I've been writing a reflection, a summary for each book that I read. And then at the end of the month, I'm also just doing like a wrap-up spread of all the books that I read that month. I'm also just keeping track of all the books in a physical form. I have Goodreads, I have Storygraph. I'm keeping track there as well, but just like I was finding myself forgetting a lot of the stuff that I was reading as soon as I was done reading it. So I was hoping that by taking it to pen and paper, taking the time to like sit down, clear my mind from everything except the books that I was reading, hopefully that will make them stick around a little longer in my brain. And it's helped me slow my reading down. I'm still reading a lot recently, but just less on average than I had been before, which I feel neutral about. My TBR is very long. There's a lot of books that I want to read, but I'll get to them when I get to them, and there's no need to rush it and lessen my enjoyment of the book that I'm reading at the moment just to get to the next one. So it's been good. Speaking of that, I wanted to talk about some of the books that I've read recently. I'm gonna make it quick because we've been chatting for a while. Since the last time we talked about books, I have read a few. A nonfiction audiobook that I listened to was Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, and I will be consulting my notes because that's what they're for, so I can remember. This was a nonfiction book, and I'm going to be fast about it. I'm not going to dwell too much. This is a nonfiction book about tuberculosis, which is one of John Green's areas of expertise. He became really interested in TB kind of randomly. John Green, I have loved for a long time. I mean, his YA novels I was into as a young teen. I wasn't like obsessed, but I read The Anthropocene Reviewed maybe 2 years ago, and I really, really liked that. And that was a nonfiction essay collection by him. And I don't watch the Vlogbrothers. I don't really like watch his other content. So whenever I get a chance to read John Green's nonfiction, I will do it because I really like the way he writes. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he expresses himself. And was tuberculosis a topic that I had been previously interested in or thought might be very engaging to learn about? No. But it was very interesting because John Green is able to make anything interesting and engaging. And I think it's like just hearing somebody talk about something that they've spent a long time researching in, a long time interested in, is one of my favorite things. And tuberculosis, as scary and horrible of a disease as it is, John Green was able to like make it very engaging. And it was just like very eye-opening, and it made me realize like how privileged I am to live somewhere and to have a life where I don't really have to worry about tuberculosis, because I just think of it as like an old disease that we don't really have to worry about anymore. But to this day, it still affects a lot of people around the world. And yeah, this book talks about like the lack of healthcare access and healthcare to a lot of parts of the world. Okay, another nonfiction book that I recently read was Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is an essay collection, and I had been recommended this book and had been wanting to read this book for a long time. And the premise of all the essays and like the central theme is ecology and the earth and nature and wildlife. All of that through the lens of Native American history and Native American culture. And I initially thought that this book would be more like just science-based and informational, but I learned that the author is also, in addition to being a botanist, a poet, and she writes very, very beautifully. So a lot of this was very informational. I learned a lot about native species. I learned a lot about the wildlife and ecology of the United States, but I also learned a lot of Native American history and stories. And Robin Wall Kimmerer just writes in a way that's so beautiful. And a lot of it is about the ways in which we treat the earth now that really go against everything that the Native American people believed and the way that they lived, which was very in tune with nature. They had a very reciprocal relationship with the earth. They believed in never taking more than you need, always being grateful, always giving back to the earth and to your community around you, and just about how as society we've strayed so far from that, and we can see it in the ways that the world around us is suffering, and how we really need to get back to those teachings, to those beliefs, if we want to save this ailing earth. And it was sad at times, but also just full of beauty and full of hope. And it really made me feel a lot more connected with the world and made me just re-inspired, reinvigorated to really try to do my part and try to live more in tune with nature. I also read A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I loved this book so much. Rebecca Ross, I had read her Divine Rivals series. I adored that. That was a YA duology, and this is an adult novel, and it takes place on this magical island that's very inspired by Scottish history and Scottish lore. It is a fantasy book, so there are a lot of fantastical elements. It's an island that's ruled by these spirits. They're spirits of the elements, the wind, the water, the fire, the earth. And we are following a couple of different characters. One of them, the first one we meet, is Jack. He's a bard, and he is coming back home to this island because he's been summoned after a long time away. He has really complicated feelings about coming back, but he's being called back because they need his help, because recently the island has had a series of disappearances of young girls. And in this world, music can be used as a tool to communicate with the spirits, and the people of this island think that this might be the key to finding out where the little girls have been taken, is talking to the spirits. And then there are also a couple of other characters that we meet that are all intertwined in this mystery, and they're all going through their own internal struggles and battles. And yeah, I really, really loved it. There was like equal parts mystery, equal parts of romance, equal parts like cozy fantasy elements, and it was just beautiful. The women in the story, I didn't really talk about their characters, but they were my favorite characters in the story. Cedra and Adira, they were both each going through like their own journeys and struggles, and I really, really enjoyed both of their arcs. And I'm looking forward to reading, because this is also a duology. So the second book of Fire Endless, I believe, I already have my copy of it, and I just need to get through a couple of books that are on my docket, a couple of book club reads that I need to finish before the month. But I'm very excited to get to Fire Endless eventually. Okay, another book. This was an audiobook listen. Oh, both of the nonfiction books were audiobooks, and both were read by the author John Green and Robin Wall Kimmerer, and those were both really good narrations. Another really good audiobook, really good narration was I keep saying A Wild, but it's just Wild Dark Shore by Charlie McConaughey. This is like a full cast narration, and I think that's really fun. I love when books do that, and this one was really good. This was like a mystery thriller, but like a slower paced one, and it was also like really centered around like wildlife and global warming and the impacts of that, which I really enjoyed. And we're following this family that lives on a remote island that's between Australia and Antarctica. It is very small. It was used in the past by a lot of hunters and fishermen, and they left behind a lot of like death and destruction, wiped out some species of wildlife, but a lot have survived and still thrived on this island many years after all the fishermen and hunters have been gone. And in more recent times, it was used as a research base for scientists studying these species. But now, because of the impacts of climate change, this island has become like inhospitable and is going to be underwater soon. So all of its inhabitants, all the researchers and scientists that worked here have basically evacuated. And now the last people on this island is this family, Salt family, who is Dominic, the father, and his 3 children. He is the caretaker of this island, and these children have been there for, I think, like 10 years or so. They really kind of grew up on this island and are very attached to it, but now they're also having to evacuate. So they're just wrapping things up, going to leave the island soon, and then a random woman washes up on shore, and they don't really know why she's there. They're suspicious of her motivations for being there, and she is suspicious of them for her own reasons. And I won't get into it because we're kind of like slowly unraveling like a big mystery throughout. But it was very, very good and heavy a little bit. It was heart-wrenching for multiple reasons, but I thought the writing was so good, and I thought the mystery unfolded very well. A little slower pace than your typical thriller, but I really liked the subject matter, which was unlike anything I had read before, and also I thought the writing was very beautiful. So yeah, that was Wild Dark Shore. Really enjoyed that one as well. And the last book on the docket, no, there's 2 more. Okay. Let me talk about Patricia Wants to Cuddle by Samantha Lee Allen. This was a book that I read with my friends. My friends and I now have a little book club, and we all suggested books and then did like a poll, and this was one of my suggestions, and it was one that won. So I feel personally responsible for it a little bit, but let me tell you the premise of this. This is like a satirical horror book, and we're following a group of contestants, a group of women who are the top 4 women in a bachelor type reality show. So these are the top 4 women, and they are going to film the like final date episodes. And they travel to this remote island off the coast of Washington because the show is like trying to save money. Instead of going to like Rome or something, they go to this island. And this island is infamous for women who have visited and disappeared and never been heard from again. So yeah, the people, the crew, and the contestants, they arrive on this island. And then weird, creepy things start to happen. The book is told from multiple POVs, from the 4 contestants, and then also one of the producers of the show. And then it's also interspersed with like blog posts of some of the people who have like investigated this island or have visited this island and then disappeared. And then we also get like some forum posts. They're like Reddit posts of people who like follow the show very closely. So it's just like a fun time. And I was really enjoying it, just having a good time with it for the first 2 parts. It's broken up into 3 parts. For the first 2 parts, I was having a really good time. And then the 3rd part arrived, and it arrived very suddenly, and the things that happened in this part felt very kind of disjointed with the rest of the book. It kind of felt just very tonally different. I liked the idea overall. I liked the concept. The execution did fall flat at the end there for me. And I think that was kind of the consensus for the rest of my friends who read it as well. It was interesting. It was like trying to make a commentary about queerness, queer spaces, and also just like the vapidness and selfishness and like how fake reality TV is and stuff like that. But yeah, it didn't quite stick the landing for me, and that was disappointing. But I had a really fun time overall reading this book, to be honest. So I don't regret it. I don't regret subjecting my friends to this. We had a really fun time discussing it after as well. So I would say it was a mild success. And last book on the docket was Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I feel like there's really not much to say. Hamnet is very popular now because it's a very famous book, and then it also got turned into a movie. And it was an Oscar nominee and award show winner last year. And this is about William Shakespeare and his family and his children and his son Hamnet, who died when he was really young. Not much is actually known about his family. So this story is like almost entirely fictional, except for like the few base facts of like William Shakespeare was married to a woman named Anne, and they had 3 children. Hamnet died when he was 9, I think. That's like the bare bones of what is known. And Maggie O'Farrell took those facts and then built a narrative around it. So the book follows multiple POVs from Shakespeare's family. We follow Agnes, who is his wife, who is more commonly known as Anne, but she called her Agnes based on like some historical records, I guess. And then also his children. And the first part of the book is told in dual timelines as well as like the shifting POVs. So it's a little, yeah, there's a lot of like POV and timeline shifts, but it's not like hard to follow or anything. So the 2 timelines that we're exploring are the week leading up to Hamnet's death, when his twin sister Judith gets sick with the bubonic plague, and then he gets sick with the bubonic plague. And then the other timeline that we're following is the relationship between William and Agnes and their meeting and eventually like coming together and having these children and just like their family life and struggles. And then in the second half of the book is the portion that kind of portrays the fallout of Hamnet's death And we are exclusively following Agnes in this part of the book, I believe, because it really just turns into an exploration of grief from a mother's point of view. And it's heartbreaking and beautiful and excruciating. And it broke my heart into a million pieces, but it was just so gorgeous to read. The writing was incredible, and yeah, I really loved it. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, but I really loved it. And I watched the movie recently too after I read the book, and I thought the movie was good, but like, you just can't capture like the raw emotion that the book does in movie form. Like, the actors, they were acting their little hearts out. It looked visually stunning, gorgeous. I'm not mad to have seen it. I think it was a beautiful movie, but it just like, it doesn't hit as hard as the book. It was a really good book. So yeah, that's what I've been reading lately. Some really good ones. I'm glad that I've kind of slowed it down a little bit. I feel like after these particular, maybe excluding Patricia, but after this particular group of really good books, I fell into like a little bit of a reading slump that I'm still crawling my way back out of, but I'm not worried. So that was it. That was today's video. I will leave it here, a quick wrap up, but I would love to know what your favorite analog hobbies are, and if you have any thoughts on these books that I've been reading lately. And yeah, I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye, amiguis.